Yahoo News, 21st of June 2023, when the more enormous boast of the weaker, Xi Jinping is demeaning the United States. The United States is assuming the position of the bigger person, but China, which is a thuggish state and must be addressed as such, does not understand gentleman's behavior. The Biden administration did itself a favor by lowering expectations for Secretary of State Antony Blinken's trip to China. The long-awaited diplomatic trip, delayed because of the uproar in February over a Chinese surveillance balloon flying over the U.S., was the first of its kind in 5 years, showing how far ties have fallen. The journey was not successful. China communicated with the United States as though it were a junior partner in their partnership. In addition, while Blinken's meeting with Foreign Minister Qin Gang was characterized as constructive, with a desire to reduce tensions, the Secretary of State was instead subjected to an unflinchingly severe lecture from China's top diplomat, Wang Yi. Wang reflects the combative wolf warrior style of diplomacy. Chinese diplomats prefer to engage in public, antagonistic confrontation with foreign nations rather than the more covert role generally associated with the diplomatic profession. Even while it jars with their international counterparts, being perceived to stand up for China is popular domestically, as evidenced by the support those wolf fighters receive on social media at home. During their encounter, Wang did not attempt to resolve the difficulties in overcoming the skepticism and conflict that have defined the two countries' relationship. Wang, echoing Beijing's well-worn talking points, demanded that the U.S. stop suppressing China's technological advancement and exaggerating the China threat, according to the Chinese state broadcaster CCTV. Wang also cited Washington's wrong perception of China as the root cause of the deterioration in the two countries' relations. The timing of Wang's visit, according to Blinken, was critical when a decision must be made between dialogue and confrontation, cooperation and conflict in regards to U.S.-China ties. He also emphasized that Taiwan is one of China's core interests and that Beijing has no room for compromise or concession. According to the statement, the U.S. must respect China's sovereignty and territorial integrity and vehemently oppose Taiwan's independence. Inadvertently, Blinken adopted a far more amenable tone, highlighting the importance of open lines of communication to ensure that competition does not veer into conflict. However, there was no indication of a noteworthy improvement or a breakthrough. Even in the most upbeat interpretation of the visit, one may say that the various bilateral problems are still a work in progress. The extensive list also includes China's, at best, neutral stance toward Russia's invasion of Ukraine, trade, Taiwan, human rights in China and Hong Kong, and military activity in the South China Sea. However, this ongoing project is having trouble bearing any fruit. Blinken met with President Xi in the Great Hall of the People for a half-hour towards the end of his visit, despite initial skepticism that it would happen. This wasn't made public until an hour before it happened. Xi's willingness to see Bill Gates, whom he called an old friend a few days prior, put the U.S. as a supplicant. Washington would have viewed the failure to arrange a face-to-face meeting with Blinken as a severe insult, breaking with the tradition of several previous trips from American secretaries of state dating back to Henry Kissinger. According to reports, Xi told Blinken that while a stable Sino-U.S. relationship was necessary for the globe, the U.S. should respect China and not interfere with its legitimate rights and interests. Ultimately, China's brinksmanship over the meeting and Wang's reprimand of Blinken is consistent with China's rising aggressiveness and self-confidence. The Middle Kingdom is sending a clear message to the West: we don't need you, and you don't need us. It must be on our terms if we are to get along.